Hi, I'm Latrina Patrick with Vision University. That's my online platform designed to help you become the best version of yourself. We have kicked off a new series that's ABCs of Grant Writing, and it's designed to help you gain some tips for being successful in your grant writing. And so we began this process with the letter A on yesterday, and today we are starting with the letter B, which is that when you are writing grants, you need to be mindful that it should be based on the need. And that's what we're going to focus on today. So it should be based on the need. And what that means is you need to consider why you are providing your services and implementing your particular programs. So, what is it that brought you to the conclusion that you needed to address this particular need? So, how did you determine that this was a need in your specific community? And it must be needs based. So, it can't just be that you perceive something to be a need, but you need to be able to justify and substantiate that, and then um, express that in your proposal so that the reviewer and the funder understands why you're doing what it is that you're doing. So you're not just implementing a program just because it's something that your organization does, but it's because it's a specific need in this particular community that you decided to serve. So it should be supported by facts and data. The need statement is really, that's the place where you want to show your most compelling data, and it needs to be very specific to the target population. So the data, the statistics that you're sharing should be very community specific and not just generalized information. So for example, if you're talking about teen pregnancy or something like that, then you don't want to just talk about teen pregnancy from a national perspective, but specifically how it's impacting your targeted community. You also want to be mindful that you justify the need and it's not based on what you think is a problem. A lot of times, from the outside in, a particular observer in a community may assume that there's a specific issue just because they know of a few incidents. Again, going back to teen pregnancy, there may be some incidents that you're aware of, and it seems like that's a big problem. But when you dig deep into the research and the data, it may not be as prevalent a problem as you thought. So make sure that it's not based on what you think, but it's based on what the data says. Oftentimes, what appears to be an issue isn't supported by the data or by the community itself. So you could also unveil something that the community is not ready or committed to addressing. And so you need that community buy-in. So if they don't perceive it to be a problem, then you won't be effective in trying to implement your program or your services. And you also want to use comparison data. So I mentioned not to just base it on national data, but if this really indeed a problem, to be able to paint a clear picture of how severe your problem is, you really want to compare that data that you found locally to national data and very specific state data. So, and you want to start from the highest to the bottom. So you want to start what the national numbers look like, whether we're again talking about teen pregnancy, and compare that to what's going on in your particular state, and then drill down even further to what's going on in your specific county within that state. And you're really on a winning track if you can really demonstrate that your community data is more compelling and more detrimental than what you're seeing in the national and the state. So you want to be able to compare it. That really helps to paint a picture of how severe your problem is in your particular community. And you want to allow the community input to be a factor in your data collection. And what I mean by that is not just looking at data that's been pulled from outside entities or what have you, but also going into the specific community that you want to serve. So you may want to do some focus groups, you may want to do some surveys or hold some town hall meetings, whatever is most appropriate for the community that you're serving. But you want to always be able to start out with some community buy-in, and that's going to really help you make your case in your proposal for your need, especially. And so when it comes to documenting your need, you want to use the most compelling data. So a lot of times you can find a lot of data on a particular focus or topic, but you don't want to just get bogged down in all of the data and all of the statistics. You want to find the most compelling. So look at what's really driving you. When you see a particular fact or statistic that really strikes you, chances are it's going to strike the reviewer or the funder when they read it. So find those 2 to 3 really compelling facts that you can use to support your case, and not throwing in everything that you find, because it kind of waters down the most important stuff when you throw in a bunch of data all at once. You want to you want to evoke emotion from the reviewer and from the funder. So using that compelling statistical data, that's going to help you do that. You really want them to feel something when they're reading your narrative. The needs and the problem statement sets the tone for the entire proposal. So that is what you really, that's where you start building your case. If you're looking at each section of a traditional grant proposal, it starts out with the needs statement. That's the first thing. And so you want to grab their attention right away. If you don't start strong with that problem statement, it makes it very difficult to keep the reader's attention. And when it comes to scoring your proposal, if you start out strong, you want to get those points early on. As a reviewer for the feds, I can tell you that I can tell from the need statement whether or not this is going to be a grant proposal. So if it starts out strong, it gets me really ready to read the solution to that problem. If it starts out kind of mediocre, it's not going to get better from there. So you want to start out strong. And if you drive the emotional factor up for the reviewer, you really increase your chances of getting a better score, and thereby increasing your chances of getting funded. And then finally, if you want more information about this and you want to delve a little bit further into some of these topics or these grant writing tips, I encourage you to make sure you subscribe to my YouTube channel so that you can access these videos and others on a daily basis. So if you subscribe to the channel and hit those notification button, you'll make sure that you're notified as soon as I upload new videos. And then I want you to also consider registering for my upcoming webinar. I'm going to drill down a little deeper in one particular area when I go into the grant writing, the art of the skill. It's going to be a really interactive live webinar that I'm presenting on Thursday, March 17th from 1 to 2 p.m. and also from 7 to 8 p.m. But you need to go to the website to register and choose your slot. So that registration occurs at visionuniversity.com. And then you also, while you're there, make sure you subscribe to my email, because you will also get another free gift. I'm giving away a free resource. It's a ebook that is it's Help Granted, and it's basically a guide for beginning grant writers. And so make sure you subscribe to the email so that you can get that free gift. And then finally, coming up at the end of April, I'm launching a brand new course from my online grant university that's launching the end of April. This is going to be a really extensive 4 to 6 week course that's going to get really focused and really drill down on the things that you need to know as a beginning grant writer. It's going to be really remarkable course. So these are all the ways that you can get more grant writing tips. And of course, make sure you continue to watch out for the ABCs of grant writing, because every single day of this month, I will be releasing a new video until we get through the entire alphabet. All those great tips about how to write grants effectively and successfully. So having said that, I want to remind you to make sure that you create the vision for the life that you desire and you deserve, because you are the only one who can.